Hello, everyone. This is Scratch and Jack, your host for the Amazing Plastic Sunday Hangout. Amazing Plastic is a Google Plus community of modelers of all shapes and sizes. What else? Who have all shapes and sizes, who have interests of all different genres, skill levels, and whatnot. Who like to share their tips and tricks with one another and to learn more about their craft and to celebrate one another's skill modeling achievements. I got to say, Amazing Plastic is perhaps the fastest growing or the largest skill modeling community on the Google Plus network. Right now we have 1,725. That is up from 4 from yesterday. So I think it's because of the talent that we have here who are joining us with this Hangout to talk about skill modeling. And perhaps we'll get some sort of internet troll to come along, too. How you doing, Heath? Not to say that you're the troll. I mean, what an intro.
Yeah. Troll, thanks.
How's Monday morning for you?
Oh, beautiful. It's going to be a lovely 30-degree day over here.
Oh, nice, nice. For all you Americans are watching, that would be about 85 degrees.
Yeah, Americans.
Yes, that'll be about 85 degrees and freezing your butt up.
Well, it's actually 65 degrees here today, and it was rather sunny. I actually did some painting with rattle cans today. So, yeah. So, what are you working on?
Nothing. I haven't started anything yet. Haven't started.
Shame be upon you.
Nothing. All right, moving on.
I've got plenty of kits. I just can't think.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. What are you thinking of?
I just don't know what to do.
Nothing? You're not thinking of anything? You're just kind of looking at boxes?
I'm thinking about what to make. I'm thinking about what to build. I mean, I've got 4-in-1 car there that needs to be done. Mm-hmm. I've got 3 Batmobiles that need to be done. Mm-hmm. I've got an Enterprise for my daughter that I've got to do. And somewhere along the line, I'm supposed to be doing my 350, then do my Millennium Falcon. I'm going, where do I start?
Right. Okay, you got a lot to think about. While you're doing that, we're going to talk to some stuff about James. How you doing, James?
I'm doing fine there, Jack. Yeah, it's been a very productive weekend.
It has been a productive week. Yeah.
I'll screen share where I'm at here.
Talk it to us.
All right. Doink. Start. I finished off yesterday the wiring for the shadow box. So that part.
Wow.
Jay, move aside.
Yeah.
This guy's really good.
And then that's all That's all running on its own power now.
Nice. A wall work, no less. That's good.
And I got the framework done this today, so it's all boxed in.
It looks like a movie screen. It certainly does.
Yeah.
Are you gonna cut a hole in your wall and embed it inside, or?
Well, if you come, you'll see. Yeah.
It could be very well.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
So beautiful.
It is. It is. Oh wow. Very cool. And you haven't shared these yet on the community.
No, I haven't shared these ones yet.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And I like the perspective that you chose, hiding the Enterprise a lot.
Yeah.
But it really makes you look at your display because it is being covered up in a sense.
Yeah.
I like that. Your artist license is very good.
That is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Very cool. Well, I can't top that, even with my next project. Who would want to?
There's our little our travel pod there coming in.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Nice. Suggestion of action there.
Yeah.
Very cool. Can you zoom in on that? Go back.
Which?
Go back to the frame before. Can
This
you
one?
just scroll and zoom in on that?
We'll see what we can get.
If you got a scroller on your... There you go. Oh, there you go.
That is so sweet.
Very nice.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the productive day, was to finish off framing that. And
Yep, and it's now mounted on the wall.
Wow.
Way cool. Way cool. Has any of your friends and relatives or no?
They haven't seen it yet, no.
Yeah, so we're very privileged to have seen it first.
Yeah.
That is really nice.
Magical.
That is really nice. I would want you to post that. I'd like to show my partner. That would be great.
Yeah. No, I'll be posting that. And for my next thing, I've got this art project I started about a year ago, and I want to get back to it and finish it off.
Looks like a head.
Yeah.
It's a head. It is a figurine. It's a part of a figurine. It's part of a very complex little art piece that I downloaded, so I've got to finish that off.
Uh-huh. That's cool.
So that's where I'm at right now, anyway.
I think James should get his own section on the website and call it Amazing Paper.
Right, and he's saving trees from going to landfill.
Mhm.
Amazing paper.
How you doing, Jay? I haven't seen you in a bit, and I understand you're seeing a lot better.
I am. I had eye surgery on my right eye and cataract surgery and a removal of a small, it was not a tumor, but just something that was inside. And it is so totally amazing. I mean, I have not had 20/20 vision in that eye in over 30 years. So, you know, just walking around and being able to look and read things from a distance or whatever is amazing. I still need some sort of like cheaters, you know, when I'm working real close, but these are only a 1.5 magnifier, because while it is 20/20 vision, a lot of people think 20/20 means perfect vision, and it doesn't. It's just it's a measure of what you can see at a distance, you know. So I do have a bit of astigmatism, but they're going to do the left eye probably in December.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's been amazing. I've been working on a few things. Are we really up to episode 63?
Yes, we
Yep.
up to 63, being that every other week that we do this. At the beginning, we did it every week, and I just couldn't keep up with that pace. And aside from that, at some point, we were starting to just look at each other. And I don't think anybody watching these broadcasts wants to see people looking at each other.
No, it's weird. It feels like just 2 weeks ago it was episode 61, you know? So
that was about a month ago, actually.
anyway.
That was about a month ago now.
Yeah, a month ago. Anyway, what I'm working on a few projects. I'm working on a model of the Explorer satellite, which was the first American satellite. And I would show you what I've got on it, but somehow or another, in the incredible mess in here, the body of it went flying somewhere, and I have not found it yet. So, I mean, here's the engine pod, but I'm trying to find the rest of it.
Jay, how many times have I told you to clean up your room?
Yeah, well, if you saw what it looked like in here, you'd scream and run away. I'm also modifying this. I think a lot of you might recognize it.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
This is the original series Battlestar Galactica Rebel where, you know, humans.
Yeah.
A lot of this is holocast, which means I can cut it open. I want to take this part and modify it so all these parts between here are clear. And I want to put a flash unit in there, and I'm going to put the body of the electronics there and the batteries in the handle, and replace this with an actual button like that, like they used, so that when you pull the trigger, it flashes.
Oh, hell. why bother putting lights in it? Just put in a plasma beam generator, you know?
Well, that would be cool too. But it's amazing when you look at the props they made, because when you look at this, you can tell they had to build props in a hurry. I mean, like this little thing on the back here. That is the antenna from an Apollo spacecraft. And any you armor modelers out there, take a look at that. You will see model tank parts stuck on there and stuck on this side, you know. But they had to get it together fast. So, you know, it looks nice. And the originals that actually fired had a airport or an airplane strobe in the tip. And there was no way that they could run enough power from batteries into that strobe to fire it. So the original firing ones actually had a cable that came off from down here, ran inside the actor's uniform and out to run power. So I've got some photos. I've got some beautiful photos of that original.
Yeah, I've got a question, Jay.
Yes.
You didn't take that out the frame, did you?
No.
You didn't take that out of the frame, did you?
No. I haven't even painted it yet. So I'm going.
I know you got one that's in a frame.
Yeah, I do. This is a different one, but the other one in the frame is just a static unit. Static unit. I want to make this a working one that actually at least flashes. I think that.
I want one.
I want one. Cool. Yeah, because you and I were talking about the Galactica gun, and I had I showed you I had the one they used in the new series.
Yeah.
Which was just a regular pistol with a little piece put on the bottom. But yeah, I did have this, and I found it, and I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun project.
I know one thing. I know one thing, Jay. There is one blaster I want you to make. And I will pay you for this. Certain film that Jack doesn't want to know about. I'm talking about a Han Solo DL44 blaster.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's built on a C9 C6 C whatever Mauser Broomhander
C9 Mauser.
Yeah.
C9 Mauser.
Yeah, I've actually got a couple of those. I've actually got a couple of those, so that could be modified pretty easily. Now, do you want it to actually shoot something? Or?
No.
And back to you, Jack.
Oh, okay. I was just waiting for you guys to finish up. How you doing, Ken?
Doing good, Jack. You?
I'm doing okay. And you said you were waiting for supplies yesterday, but did you get yourself into some building?
Not yet.
Not yet. How can
I threw this one together about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Is that the fine walls?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's the Revell one.
Oh.
10
minutes.
That actually.
It's on the new movie.
You know, get your painting right. That could be a nice-looking little model.
Yeah. Not bad. Went together pretty good.
You Americans have all the luck.
No, he's Canadian.
You want to say that? He don't even get there.
No, he's Canadian.
She got 5 landing gear on it.
The Canadians and the Americans have all the luck. We don't even get them. We have to pay thousands of dollars for them.
Well, we charge you that much because Australians have the money to do that.
Landing gear works. Goes up.
Cool.
I said I'm
Cool. Just pulling your leg. Hey,
it'll be about 5 minutes to put it together.
5 minutes to yeah. Well, that was a sneeze for me anyway.
I made this.
I could get that done in 2 minutes.
That's cool. That is really cool.
Yeah.
So at least that satiated your building itch because you were gone for a while because of your line of work, and now you're waiting for supplies. You know, you should have ordered that before you came back from your work.
Yeah, I ordered Ron once.
Well, that's true. I mean, if you're away, you don't know what you need. I was just looking at some paint today. Like I don't have enough bottle paint behind me and everywhere else. I thought of buying some paint. I need whites. It's like one point I didn't have enough gray.
Uh-oh. He's frozen.
The NPC X-wing for a little tribute to Star Wars before it shows up. But I'd have to order the paint in order because I'm going to hand paint it. It should be a fast build because I've built the kit before and it's pretty fast. But the paint work I want to do by hand because I've been playing with paint. Where do you order your paint from, if I may ask?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I get mine from the hobby shop. My hobby shop in St. John's.
Oh, really? I ordered that too from now.
I got to get it coming in the post if I don't go and get it myself. But it's 365 kilometers away, both directions.
65 kilometers. What's that? About 40 miles.
Oh, 365.
Oh, 300.
Yeah.
65.
Oh, never mind. That's pretty far, but you get mail there, don't you?
Yeah, I get it coming in the post. Yeah.
Okay, because I won't advertise the place because they're not a sponsor, but I get a box like this filled with paint. So I got paint on the floor. This was for some of the jets I have planned for. We'll get to whenever we get to it. But does anybody get paint from the post?
Sometimes.
Not myself. No, I either buy it from the hobby shop or I buy it from the art store, as a rule.
Yeah. That's usually what I do too. Although sometimes certain paints I can't find, like this paint that it's an acrylic paint that has actual iron dust in it, and I like working with that because if you add a little bit of vinegar to it, before you put it on, it starts to rust. It looks really beautiful, but I can't find anybody in town that sells it, so I've got to order that.
Well, that would be
finding Viejo paints in town is difficult.
I know my Hobby Lobby has it, but they only have a selection. And what's interesting is if I buy like about 15 or 18 bottles by post, it'll cost exactly the same as it would at the Hobby Lobby. So much for retail. But they don't have the air. They only have the model. They don't have the air paint.
That's the problem I have is that my hobby shop only has the gaming colors, and and Hobby Lobby only has the standard, mainly military colors. So.
And none of them carry the model color, it's just the gaming color?
The hobby store only carries the gaming color.
Well, the gaming colors are pretty popular now with people doing gaming stuff like that. Yeah. Gundam particularly.
Yes, I go into.
Vallejo also comes up with kits like for World War II Germany, World War II Germany and Africa, stuff like that. But I discovered something about floor wax. I think I would bring up. This is the monster truck I built. There is a finish on it. This is a semi-gloss floor finish. It's not. Oh gosh, what's the popular brand?
Not the Future. Yeah.
Future.
It's not the popular brand. It's the Home Depot generic brand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what I discovered was, let's see if we can get really close. Let's see if we can get a focus. I guess not. If I shake up the bottle and then use it, it leaves a texture behind. But if I put it in a small bottle like this and let it sit for a few weeks and just use what's on top of that, all that stuff that makes it rough settles out and makes a nice smooth finish. Turns out because it's floor wax, they put that in there to give it some texture to make it anti-slip.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I use Future a lot. Actually, what I use is the
Pledge
dollar store knockoff version.
Okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, I used to shake it up because that's what you're supposed to do with floor wax. But I discovered you don't do that. I just happened to come on that. I just happened to come up on that. let it settle out, and use what's on top. There's your tip for the day from Jack.
Yeah.
Yay!
But you're using the cheap stuff then from the dollar store.
Yeah, and it's perfectly clear, so I don't have to shake it up or anything. But I know what you're talking about. And yeah, I use the stuff from the dollar store, and it works as well as regular Future, or whatever they're calling it now. It's
Pledge.
Yeah, it's something, I don't know.
It's not called Future anymore because it's out of date.
Yeah, it's been it's been retooled, reconditioned, or whatever you want to call it. So,
how do you shine up yours up there in Canada, Mr. Ken?
I don't do much now with regard of the painting or anything like that. I haven't done that for 2 years or more. So
You don't put any kind of coating on it?
I don't put together any models. I'm just doing doing scratch bills and that. Right?
Okay. Okay.
I don't paint them because I send them to Larson Design, right?
Well, I was told to do this, and I think, oh gosh, Chris Pandoff did a car that looks like glass, and he just goes through a process of sanding and painting and sanding and coating, sanding and coating.
mm-hmm.
I would ask the professionals here, what about polyurethane? Like I use the acrylic floor wax. How about the polyurethane?
I don't use that very much, so I can't say a lot about it. Well, actually, I have used it on a few. I've got 3 cans that are polyurethane. One is flat, one is semi-gloss, and one is gloss. And they go on thick, which is what I want sometimes. But that's out of the spray can. If I were to be using them out of a bottle in an airbrush, I would spray them on a lot thinner.
Well, I would think the Minwax would come out thick out of the spray. How would you thin it from a can?
Oh, you'd have to decant it into a small container. What a lot of people will do is they'll take the spray can. This is actually spray adhesive, but they'll take the spray can and then they'll take a small tube, pretend that's a straw, okay, and they'll stick it like this, and a cup would be down at the end of the straw, and then they'll spray it. They'll spray it, and it comes out, it drips out or sprays out kind of into the bottle. The thing you have to watch is this, you don't want to seal that bottle up tight, because even though you've decanted it, there are still gases trapped in the paint that will gas out, and it will create a lot of pressure. So what you want to do basically is put a cap on with a little, loosely, so that the pressure can get out. I know a lot of people that do that, and it works well for them. I personally very rarely will do that, but that's how it's done usually.
Decant it into a jar?
Yeah.
Yeah, into an empty paint jar. Yeah.
And that actually works.
Yeah.
So that's, in other words, you're saying that the stuff that comes out of the spray can, out of the rattle can, is thinner. Of course, it would be thinner than it would be out of the can.
Yeah.
It is, but you still have the opportunity to thin it more if you need to. Once it's been put into a bottle.
I would think that would dry pretty quick. It would solidify pretty quick coming out of the spray can.
It does. That's one of the things I like about this stuff that I use for gloss spraying and stuff. I use it on props. I don't usually use it on models. Is that it does dry very quickly, like within a half hour. So I can hit it with a second coat if I need to or whatever.
Okay. But what would you thin the Minwax polyurethane? That's what I come back to. What do you thin it with?
What I would do personally is I would try a couple of thinners and see what works.
Like a paint thinner?
Yeah, there's regular paint. There's regular paint thinner. There's acetone. There's lacquer thinner.
Uh-huh.
Lacquer thinner thins almost anything. So, but I would try a couple of things and see how it works, and then use that. You could also look up online usually what polyurethane ones are thinned by.
The internet knows everything.
It does.
That's
Good.
I
Very
thought I'd
good.
ask you. I thought I'd ask you as to what you've used in the past, but you've never used any of the polyurethanes like that. Does any of you use that polyurethane like that? Because I'm curious, because I came across it when I was doing some painting. I was using the cheap rattle can stuff. I should have used it on the rebuild of my F-18 parts. And I didn't. I used the nice, thick, heavy Rust-Oleum stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out, the finishes turned out, the primer turned out great. I mean, it's really, it will soak in any kind of paint. It looks like it will do that. Has a nice fine texture to it to do that. But boy, did it cover up all those nice fine details on the model kit. This truck color is really the cheap 97 Home Depot can of paint, is what it is. And boy, when I put in that, put the acrylic floor wax on there, it just soaked it right up like if it were paint. And that's probably one of the reasons why the finish came out so nicely.
Yeah.
Because cheap stuff goes on really thin. I was just thinking that today. I was just thinking that most people want spray paint to be like thick and nice one cover spray and whatnot, and here this cheap spray paint can't do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yet it's probably the finest finish and the finest priming you can do for any kind of paint, whether it be acrylic or enamel. I really think you know what? I swear by it now. I thought it was kind of strange when Richard. You know who Richard is, who told me about this can that he gets at Walmart that's 97 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Home Depot has the same thing. And now they're starting to come in different colors. I would think they would be at Walmart.
Yeah, I've gotten the gloss black, flat white, the gloss white, and the primer. I use the primer a lot. Even on models, but it really depends on what I'm doing, because sometimes, like if I'm doing a figure, I might want to use, like I've got the Tamiya white primer, which goes on much thinner. Sometimes I'll use this stuff, which is from Japan. It's Mr. Hobby Surfacer.
Yeah.
Which makes an incredible primer, because it'll take any paint, but it goes on so thin. You don't even have to sand it between coatings, although I do. And this stuff comes in different grades. This is 500. It goes up at...
Oh my God, look who's joined us.
I've also made my own version. Danny!
Hi, Danny!
Hi, Danny.
Hey, guys.
We were just talking about you, and your ears were probably frying up and falling off your head. And that's why you got the headphones on and keep your ears on.
Actually, no, I really barely just got the invite. I was checking my emails because I'm waiting on some parts to come in, and I'm like, Jackson, and I'm like, wait a minute, oh, that Hangout. So here I am. Hi, guys.
Well, that's the problem, are you?
In a long time, boy. Well, you and I talked earlier this week, but still.
Yeah, still.
I hear your... oh, okay, what was that?
Yeah. The Tamiya stuff, I use that too a lot.
Tamiya, yeah. We were just talking primers and paint.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think if you have to spend more than $1, then you're making truly an investment in your hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the paints that I get from Japan. I get from Tamiya, Japan. They take a bit to get here, because they have to go through the sea. They have to go through sea, not air, because you can't take aerosol cans on a plane, so they come by sea.
Well, I think that would be true for the States as well. But Tamiya has a distributor here. Don't you have a distributor in Australia?
I've only got one, and the places that the places I go to charge the earth.
Charges the earth. I see.
Yeah. And I can go to Japan. I can go to Tamiya, Japan. I can go to the Tamiya, Japan website and pay $8 a can. And it's no small can. And it's no small can. Where's my... That's the type... That's for my Lotus. My next Lotus I'm doing. This is a camel yellow.
All right, how much does that cost you?
That cost me $8.
Oh, that's expensive. That's expensive.
$8 is better than 15.
Well, true. What will be 15?
15? What would be 15? That. That's the same size as this.
Right, the clear. You mean the clear finish?
This is a semi-gloss clear.
Uh-huh.
That costs $8 in Japan. Over here, it costs about anywhere from $11 to $15.
Uh-huh.
That's why I get my. That's why I get my paints from Japan.
You know something? I did use a small can like that for a matte finish on my Romulan Warbird.
Oh yes.
Huge mistake, and the reason being is it just dried up and picked up the decals. It's all a mess. So I should have done the acrylic floor wax first.
Oh, Daddy's gone again.
Seal in, yeah, to seal in the decals, but and then use it, then use the matte finish. That stuff is horrible on decals.
Yeah, no, I just noticed that Daddy's gone again.
No, he isn't. He's here.
Oh, he's there. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
So, Danny, it's okay.
You should always seal a model. When you put the decals on, you should always put something on to seal them, like a clear, preferably a clear coat, and then you can mat it up if you want to.
Right. And I did discover that, and it totally went out of my head to do that.
Yeah.
But hey, we all find our things that we use the best, and I'm thinking of doing the Minwax and seeing how that works out for cars. I want to see how well I can cheat it. I don't know. It might melt the plastic. Who knows? So Danny, I hear you're very, how should I say, busy.
Yeah, the shop I'm working at, we're literally pulling in 40 hours plus a week.
Yikes.
Not including customers' projects. I mean, right now we're doing a lot of convention stuff. With the new Star Wars movie coming out, we got a lot of people that want us to redo their blasters and stuff like that. And the company I work for, we do like this new chroming process where we chemically bond the chrome to the actual item you need. Cool. So say you wanted a gas tank chromed. We chrome it. You can take that gas tank and put it across a belt sander, and you literally pull up the bare metal before you pull the chrome off. And so a lot of people, especially like the movie, like TV shows and stuff, they want us to do it to like the props and stuff, so because they're constantly handled and stuff. So we're busy doing like TV shows, and we're doing a whole bunch of B-movie stuff now, and it's insane. It is absolutely insane. We first started off being a body shop working on cars. Now we're spending more time doing props and stuff than we are cars, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. We're licensed to be a freaking a car customizing shop, yet we're doing more stuff for Star Wars and oh my God, it's insane. And I looked at my boss, and see, the thing is, it all started off by complete pure accident. I was on the RPF forums, and I responded to Adam Savage from Mythbusters. I responded to one of his posts about how he was trying to get a specific process done on one of the neck rings of his spacesuit. And I said to him, we can chrome that for you. And he was like, really? I'm like, yeah. So he sent it to us. We chromed it for him. We gave it back to him. And he was like, this is freaking amazing. And lo and behold, now we're getting, I mean, I'm getting contacted by people that I don't even know. And they're asking us, can we chrome an entire car? I'm like, yeah. That's what we do, and the guy's like, great, I've got a DMC DeLorean, I want you to chrome it. I'm like...
It reminds me of a movie, I don't even know why, because there were no chromed cars in it. It was a Woody Allen movie. It's about he was a concert pianist, and he was cryogenically frozen. He woke up in the future because he
Sleeper.
Sleeper.
Yeah.
I don't know why that reminded me of that movie. But
that was actually based on an H.G. Wells book.
Oh, really?
Very, very, very loosely based, but it was. Yeah, I love the part where they find a 100-year-old Volkswagen in a cave, and he gets in, and it just starts right up.
It doesn't pass the EPA standards.
No, it wouldn't do that, but still.
No. No. Half the cars I work on won't even pass EPA standards. But I'll be posting some more on the Amazing Plastic group of a project I'm currently getting ready to do, which is we're going to be chroming an entire Stormtrooper suit to match the silver Stormtrooper in the new movie.
Mm-hmm.
But we're gonna take a classic original suit, not one of the new reimagined ones.
Yeah.
One of the actual classic suits, and we're gonna chrome it silver. And so then we're gonna take that to a couple of conventions and whatnot, and show people what we can do and stuff. So we've got that planned. We're also it's gotten to the point where people are sending us items thinking we can't chrome it. A guy sent us this wooden sword. It was beautifully done, and said, "Can we chrome it?" We chromed it. We made it actually look like it was metal.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to a convention, and the security took it away from him, thinking it was a real sword. And we were like, "No, it's wood." And he's like, "No, it's metal. No, it's wood." Because we grabbed a magnet, and the magnet wouldn't stick to it. You know, it's like it's wood. Yeah. And it's amazing what we're doing, and it really is.
Danny, are you guys using that spray process where it sprays on a cleaner, it sprays on a bonder, and then it sprays on the chrome?
Yes, that's
I've seen that work, and it is freaking amazing.
It's called Spectrochrome. That's what we're doing.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And we are the only Spectrochrome shop in the whole entire state of Utah.
Yeah.
If anyone wants any Spectrochrome stuff done, it's either us or they have to go all straight to California. No one in Nevada can do it, and no one in Colorado can do it. We are the only ones in Central America, in Central U.S. mountain area that can do it. And I'm getting calls. I got a call from Jay Leno because he wanted some parts on his tank car chromed to match, and we did it to his exhaust, thinking, great, the heat's going to warp it. No, the heat hasn't warped it at all. It's still the original chrome color we did because it's a chemical bond to the metal itself. And we've actually been doing it to a couple of plastic bumpers, to some 57 Chevys and whatnot, because a lot of people want to make their cars lighter for gas mileage and whatnot, but still want to keep the vintage look. They send us bumpers, headlights, grills. They're all either carbon fiber or like that whole all-in-one plastic body thing, and we just chrome it all for them and send it off to their paint booth where they want it paintbrushed and whatnot. So yeah, we are. I mean, I'm literally up to my eyeballs here in car parts, and up to here in model stuff.
So I guess you're not really doing any of your own work.
Actually, I'm in the middle of doing my own process work right here. I'm actually in the middle of scratch building my own PC case for another contest. It's actually right here.
I'm glad you brought it up because we were talking about paints, but we did a survey about paints, and I think the acrylic paints won out. And I did another survey about the glues. Now you're doing scratch building.
Yeah.
And I did expect the results that we got, but I'm a little disappointed how much of the difference there is between my favorite glue and what the most popular glue is.
Believe it or not, ironically, I was talking to Jay about this. I recently found this glue from Fuller. This stuff is amazing. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. One of the things I love about tanks, especially in model kits, but hate them at the same time, is when you get like a Tamiya kit where it's got the high detailed handles, and you misclip one getting it off the sprue and it's cockeyed when you've got it glued on the tank, and you're like, bugger, it's this stuff will melt so it's never cockeyed. It actually lays straight, and if you're good enough with the glue, you can actually make it look like a weld line. An actual full-on proper weld line. I love this stuff, but the problem is it clogs the tip like crazy. So I'm constantly standing there with a Bic lighter after I've used it to unclog it like a flame jet. And yeah, so there's that.
It turns out the liquid glues are the most popular. I knew they'd be more popular than like the Tester's jelly type glue. But I don't think it would be as great a difference.
There's also
53% out of 59 votes said the liquid glue, whereas like 20 Oh, actually 19% like the tester's glue.
There's also a new glue that's just coming to the market that doesn't air cure. It cures via UV light.
Oh yeah.
Well, right.
And I know there's a guy in Japan. He's starting to use this glue on some of his Gundam kits, and you can't even see glue lines.
Yeah.
No sanding, no nothing. It's like water. He puts it down, and he hits it with a UV bulb. 3 seconds later, permanently stuck, permanently chemically etched. Right. And I was like, that is bloody amazeballs. So I bought some, and I'm waiting for it to come to me from Hobbylink Japan. So it's going to be here probably like 2 years, you know, and I'll forget what the hell I ordered, and it'll show up, and I'll be like, oh, that's what it was, you know. So, yeah. Also, there's another glue a lot of people keep overlooking, apart from epoxies, and that's welding. Most people don't seem to see it, but welding is actually a form of gluing. Yeah. You're taking a rod, and you're taking two elements, and you're gluing them together. That's what I'm doing with this case. It's actually a steel... you know the really crappy tin pot metal shelves you can get at like B&Q's or your DIY stores? Yeah. It's those, but I'm actually welding them together permanently to make my computer case frame, and then the outside is going to be all plexiglass. And my boss said we can go ahead and spectrochrome the case, the main chassis, and I'm doing that in a copper gold color, and the plexiglass is going to be smoke clear white. So, again, it's going to be for my own personal use. But the case is so big, it will not fit on my desk, nor will it fit under my desk. I'm going to have to literally build a desk just dedicated to that. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. Here. It's heavy as hell, by the way, too, because of all the... I mean, literally.
There you go.
That's the start. That's the start of it. And it probably weighs close to about 80 pounds. So, and that's without the water cooling stuff or anything in it. That's just the mock-up parts. That's not even the actual parts I want to put in it yet. They're just the mock-up parts. So, yeah.
What I was really surprised about when it comes to the glues is 25% of respondents, 59 out of 59 respondents, use CA. I was actually really surprised.
There are a lot of people who just use CA.
I'm surprised because CA is only strong in one way, really.
Yeah, it doesn't have what's called shear strength.
No, it has very shear strength. Yeah.
Hey, Colin.
And speaking of shear strength,
Colwyn's muted.
Hi, Carwin.
Colwyn's muted and he's talking to himself again.
Yeah, I know he does that.
But no, I also
medications he's taking, you know.
I also like to use hot glue. You know, like from hot glue.
I use hot glue a lot.
I will use hot glue on some of my model kits, especially if I want to make it look like pulled up oil or water, because you can put food coloring dye in the stuff as it's curing.
What I find interesting though with the hot glue, when I'm wiring a model, I kind of pin down the wiring inside the model with it.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
I've also been getting into using these two-part epoxies as well. So,
when it comes to glue, when it comes to model glue, this is the stuff I use 99% of the time. This is exactly the same stuff as this.
10x, yeah.
10x bottle costs about $5. This cost $8. So, you can imagine, you know, it's like buying in bulk sometimes is handy, but...
that's not the same as this, is it?
Yes.
Is it the same as
it's the same stuff.
The Decon weld it? Yeah.
Look how much I paid for it. $4.
The plastic struck stuff, Ironically, I actually used that stuff to make a watertight reservoir out of plexiglass.
Yeah.
It will chemically melt plexiglass permanently, and I actually made like a small fish tank, and I put it inside my friend's computer for him just to freak him out with a goldfish in it. At work, I'm known as the practical joker because I will do. My boss hates me because I actually took his favorite fountain drink cup and I put glue on the bottom of it and I put it on the top of the hood of his Jeep, and he was driving down the road, and the cop pulls him over, thinking, you know, oh my God, you know what it is. My boss reaches out, goes to grab the cup, and it won't move at all. It had permanently cured. The glue had permanently cured. And he ended up pulling it off, and I ended up having to sand down the entire hood of his car, like the roof of his car, and repaint it and reprime it and do everything to it. And he was not happy.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
It was totally worth it. It was totally worth it.
How you doing, Corwin? As we give Danny a chance to take a breath.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's good to see Danny's alive.
Yeah. You know, we're kind of slow here on a Sunday night. That's why I invited him in, because better than caffeine. There's no withdrawals.
Yeah.
Speaking of that,
I've been doing a bit of work on the Enterprise tonight. Getting a bit more done. Got more detail done on the star drive. So I don't know if you can see it.
I did see your video, and
I posted up a picture just now, about an hour ago, so that you can see some of the paint I've started doing for the first level of detail on the star drive.
And it does have lights too, huh?
Oh yeah.
I don't know why I look at an Enterprise model and think it better be lit.
I love the Aztecing, man, on the engineering section.
Yeah, well, that's the first stage. I haven't got any of the pearl on there yet, so it's but it'll have the same sort of tones as the saucer.
That's beautiful.
It is.
So but I've started doing that, and I've done the neck as well, where I've started adding this darkened streak down here, and it's going to be divided up into panels across there, and once that's done, then it'll be on to doing the pylons here, and then on to finishing off the nacelles, and then it'll be done. Well, then I can put the decals on them.
Nice.
So,
I did like your video on the you posted on the community describing what you did and showing what you've done. Now, the question I have for you, the Aztecing, what brand? What is it? What paint or what is that you're using?
To do the what exactly?
Aztecing.
Well, I'm using the Pearl X for the pearl. Otherwise, it wouldn't be pearl; it would just be paint. And for the regular other color shading, then I'm using just the Tamiya grade, but I'm mixing up the colors. So they are. I'm using a which one's that? I've got an XF19 Sky Grey. And then I'm mixing that with a flat white, but I'm also using these other greys as well. So I'd rather, because they're not all. So I'm using those there, and that. So there's more than just one tone and one shade of grey. So some of them are slightly. This one's a blue. That one's more green. That one is like a light grey, and that's a very dark, deep grey. So and it just works to break it all up. So I've got 4 different coloured greys, which I'm mixing with some white as well to alter the tones, and I've got 3 different colour pearls on there as well. So and I've got gold, copper, titanium, chainmail. It's a whole colour party going on. So it's but I mean I've tried to keep it all subtle so that it's not.
Yeah,
you know, I don't want it to stick out.
Yes, I know.
So
the pearlescent paint can be overwhelming if you overdo it. It's pretty cool stuff.
But that's, I mean, you know, the effect I think I've got is, you know, sort of spot on for what I want. I don't want it to be.
Right.
You know,
do you do any finishes, like we were talking earlier about acrylic and dull finishes out of an aerosol? Do you do any finishing on? Are you going to be doing finishing on this? And do you on other models?
I've put sealant for finishing models on all of them.
Want me to start coffee, hon?
Yes.
So, it depends on what it is. Like my Klingon, my Vorchar Klingon ship has a matte finish on it. So that's got a matte finish on it because I don't want it to look clean or glossy or shiny.
Right.
Same with the Bird of Prey. Let's have a look. Yeah, the Runabout has got a little bit of semi-gloss on it because I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be so glossy that it looks like a toy. The D has got a coat of gloss on it so that I can use decals, lay decals back down over the top of it. And on this one, this will have a satin finish over the top of it, just so that it's. Because again, I don't want things to look like it's just
coming out of the showroom floor. Yes.
Yeah, it can look too plasticky or too fake if it's too shiny. I think it depends on what it is. It totally depends on what it is. Because I think the Millennium Falcon had a matte finish to it. The Iron Man helmet. The Iron Man helmet was the only one where I attacked it with a lot of gloss.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to have a nice, really sparkly shine to it. So.
Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it does. It totally depends on the model because nobody wants a shiny Klingon ship.
Yep.
Yeah.
You wanna.
Very much, do they? The Klingons.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like having a friendly Cardassian. You just don't want one.
Yeah.
It's yeah. So yeah, I mean, it all depends on what the model is. I mean, again, the other thing that I've done was when I was doing Red Dwarf, which I've got to repair now because the damn thing fell over. But when I've done that, I give that a coat of matte, and then I give it to do certain panels. I give that then a finish with gloss, just so that I had these different shades and panels.
Mm-hmm.
So and that added to the weathering effect. So it's just like.
I wonder, now that you're bringing that up, I wonder if you were to do different kinds of gloss, like a floor wax, like a high gloss, and a satin finish, and a flat, as Aztec, as part of an Aztec design.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah, it would work. As soon as the light catches it, it would work.
Mm-hmm.
But you would have to. I mean, you wouldn't be able to see it if you were looking straight on it in the flat light. You wouldn't be able to see anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the second you've got a bright source light coming from somewhere, then you would see it.
Yeah.
Well, for this monster truck, I just brushed it on, and it laid very nicely. I did 2 coats of it, and did a fine job of sealing the decals too. Would you say would you say there'd be a big difference between putting it through your airbrush or just brushing it on?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you brush it on, it'll definitely go on thicker.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if it doesn't level out right, you can get brush strokes.
Mm-hmm.
True.
But I mean, I've seen people do amazing work with hand painting models. Although hand painting usually, I think, is more for things like figures, or some military. Because
what I found interesting is the interior of this truck that I did is the Vallejo Air, so it's very thin. And I did put multiple layers on it. It took quite a lot of layers to get it red, from black to red.
Oh, yeah.
It even streaked a little bit because the black is just such a heavy prime. If it was like a white or a gray, the red would come out much better. But with that being said, I like the results anyway. But I would say if you're hand painting, you would definitely have to hand paint in a lot of thin layers, just like airbrushing.
That's the best way, is to go with thin layers and a lot of them.
The paint being thin, and then brushing on.
Yeah,
there you go. The monkey's car.
I painted that one by hand with a brush. That one.
Yeah.
When it comes to putting a clear coat on stuff, less is more. You want to slowly build it up. I agree. I'm doing it from an automotive style. I mean, I'm not talking about a model car. I'm doing the actual bloody car. When we do 6 or 7 coats of clear, we use an airbrush. You know what I mean? It will take us forever if we use just a regular paintbrush. But
sure, but
even from a modeling standpoint, also, you can get some really cool effects if you actually mix your clears. If you have a dull coat and a clear coat, you can use the dull coat as a form of making Aztecing, and then use the clear coat on top of that to seal it.
Mm-hmm.
So when the light hits it in awkward areas, especially in specific areas, I saw someone do that to a Babylon 5 Star Fury once to get the Aztecing nicely, and then he used airbrush to airbrush in some shading highlights on it.
Mm-hmm.
The damn thing just looked like a diamond in a goat's ass. It was just so gorgeous, you know, and you know, I know because Carwin was talking about using the pearl essence and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
He didn't have any pearl essence. He wanted to use pearl in his Aztecing and didn't have any. And he goes, well, how can I do a poor man's Aztecing? And I'm like, try a dull coat, a dull clear coat, and then go with a gloss one as well. Mix it up. So he did that, and he tried it, and it looked fan-friggin-tastic. And I was thinking that, you know, you could give that a try. Yeah, I mean, get a scrap.
Now that we're bringing this up, I have already used the floor wax with paint in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it comes out very watery and almost translucent in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Translucent in the sense that it allows the color from underneath it to come through, but yet it has this color to it.
Mm-hmm.
And not quite like a wash. Not quite like a wash. A wash to me is like a really, really, really thin paint.
It's more like a filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. There you go.
Yeah, I made some paint for Danny a year or so ago. That was that's what I use right there.
Mop and shine.
Put it up again. Keep it up. There you go. Mop and shine.
That $10 mop and shine. It's exactly what I use. But I made some paint for Danny because he was doing some
my Assimilated Enterprise.
The Assimilated Enterprise, and it was a greenish blue, and I used some of the floor wax or the future stuff as a base, and I added acrylic paint to it, and it came out great.
If I really want to get the translucent to come across, especially in cars, and it's a little thing you can try the Tamiya clear colors.
Yeah.
Like the Tamiya reds, the Tamiya greens, the Tamiya blues, especially if you're doing like a 57 Chevy and you really want that red to pop, that cherry red to pop. I use the Tamiya red in a 2-to-1 ratio with this stuff. Bang it right over the red that you've painted, bang, instantly shines. Instantly.
Makes it like
that's how I done the gold on Iron Man.
Yeah.
I painted it with a bright silver, and then I went over it then with the Tamiya amber. Once I polished it to give it this really sort of champagne gold color. So it's and you know, it works really. I mean, it's covered in dust. I like, but
it still looks amazing, man. It still looks amazing, buddy.
So
I watched every video you did on that, and I was just.
There's one.
It was like I've got to paint it, then I've got to Bondo, then I've got to sand it, then I've got to buff it, then and I'm like. He's like me when I have to work on a car.
There's, Danny, one more step, Danny. There's one more step to this, and this is something every modeler should have. Right here is a feather duster or some kind of Swiffer duster. Yeah. I don't know how these things go together. This keeps falling apart on me. But I have a deeper appreciation for scale modeling ever since I bought this. Because you get to caress your models with this.
Tamiya actually makes a brush specifically for dusting your models.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and it's a little pricey. It's like $20, but people who have bought it, it's an anti-static brush, so it really helps the stuff to fall off. I have not used one, but there is somebody sending me one to test and do a review of. So I'll let everybody know how it works. But I use, believe it or not, a fingerprint brush. One of those you kind of spin.
Yeah.
It's incredibly soft brush. But I use that because you can brush even really, fine details of a little plastic sticking up, and it doesn't break them off.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
When it comes to dusting, though, here's a $40,000 or $56,000 question. I'm just making $1 million question. How do you dust a paper model?
Same thing. I use a wide artist brush.
Yeah.
Oh.
I use a makeup brush.
Yeah.
The big thick brush. I use that because my wife, she's got like tons of makeup brushes, and when she thinks it's getting all clogged up and doesn't use it anymore, she just I'm like, oh, I'll take it. That, and I've got the old original barbershop horsehair brushes.
Yeah.
I use those. Yeah, I use those for my bigger models. That I can, because those hair bristles will get into any detail, like raised panel lines and stuff. Gets in on your first swipe every time.
Yeah, any kind of big, soft, fluffy brush is perfect.
Yeah.
Because you want it to be gentle on the model so it doesn't break things off.
I was using a soft brush on mine, but it didn't help, so I dropped the damn thing. So now I've got to repair it. It's all smashed up to bits.
I also use one of these on like the bases and that.
Yeah.
So I use like a big painter's brush. So.
There's the front box, now that I have to put it back together.
You killed the dwarf? What?
Yeah, you killed it.
Yeah, if bloody, it's over there.
You smeghead! You let River drive again, didn't you?
All the back ends buckled, so.
This is actually quite nice. Dan's so protective over Carwin's models.
Rule number 1: we never let Rimmer drive. You know this.
It's just like, I mean, I didn't cry, that much. A bit.
How many curse words did you use?
Oh, plethora. I mean, I actually had to start looking them up.
And I'm sure you made a few up. There you go.
Yes, it was. I actually run out of them. So, in the end, I just sat down and just blubbered.
Yeah, I can see that.
He was so mad that it happened. He had to adjust his top hat and his monocle.
Yeah.
Oh, it was. Like I said, I mean, there was nothing that couldn't be repaired, but it was just the fact that
it's very
I only just got the damn thing clean. And I literally, because it's got a lot of greeble over it, and there's a lot of crevices and details and everything. You have to. What I was using was one of these. Which is it's a cheap brush that you get with those sort of
watercolor
those watercolor things.
Yeah.
If you go to the plumbing section of like at Home Depot, where you get the flux and you get a brush, they have a brush there, a really cheap one for like a nickel, maybe more, of course, but it's actually a good brush to apply things with.
Yeah, I go through. Those are called flux brushes, and I go through those little suckers like. I buy them literally by the package of 50.
They're also incredibly fun to play with when you take one and you mix it in with like Bondo or epoxy and then you throw it at someone and it sticks to their back and they don't realize. Absolutely the best fun you can get for paying for 50p.
Well, we don't recommend that. But that's pretty funny. Anyhow, there you have it, folks, on the Amazing Plastic Hangouts. You got to find out how a modeler dusts his models. I caress mine, and everybody else brushes theirs. Just depends.
I also go mine with the airbrush as well. You go over the airbrush first.
Yeah, I've got a strong enough airbrush, and you got those office keyboard spray cans too.
Yeah,
those the pressure up on the compressor.
Right.
I tried using one of those office can air once on one of my models, and I don't know what happened, but the Freon in it or something came out the moment I pressed it, and it literally went all over the model, and it looked horrible, man. It looked like a snowman had an orgasm. It was just horrible. It was just horrible.
If this is your first time joining us on this Hangout, there are plenty other views on my channel on YouTube at Scratch and Jack. Just go to my channel and subscribe and perhaps even like this video or others. And if you don't like it with a thumbs down, that just shows the kind of person you are.
Yes.
This is Scratch and Jack, your host for the Amazing Plastic Hangouts. In 2 weeks, we're going to try to do the 48-hour Hangouts. So that's not going to be a broadcast Hangout. That's just going to be a Hangout for you all to join and to get to know us or other modelers here at Amazing Plastic. I'm still trying to find somebody in Australia, although Heath did say, and sorry Heath, you had to go, but there is, we need people to anchor, which means to tune in and keep it open for about 6 hours at a time. But that's in 2 weeks on Friday. That's the day after Thanksgiving, whatever day that is. My calendar isn't up. That'll be Black Friday to us Americans. It'll start 8 a.m. Eastern, which makes it like the afternoon in the UK in the middle of the night. Which is kind of funny.
What was it? 8 a.m.?
8 a.m. Eastern, yes.
Well, 5 hours difference from you.
That's 1 o'clock.
Yes, 1 o'clock. So we're going to try to do another 48, our third an Amazing Plastic. So this is Scratch and Jack, your host. Happy modeling, and see you in 4 weeks on the Broadcast Hangouts. Good night.
Good night.
Right.
Good night.